Welcome to The Explainer. So today we are unpacking something absolutely fascinating. It's this spiritual philosophy from the writings of Xu. And look, we're going to explore a framework here that literally challenges everything we think we know about conflict, justice, and honestly, just how we go about our daily lives. We're diving into the Lifechanyuan Cosmology. It's this massive, mind-bending cosmic architecture, but it actually gives us super grounded, practical advice for our everyday struggles. So get ready because we are about to look at all those annoying daily grievances in a totally new light. All right, I want you to think about this right off the bat. Why is it that human society is just so thoroughly filled with conflict, contradiction, and struggle, while these higher, celestial realms are said to exist in absolutely perfect harmony? This is the central mystery we are unpacking today. I mean, we see it everywhere, right? In the news, in our neighborhoods, even in our own homes, just constant friction. But what if that friction isn't just, bad luck or poor politics? What if it's actually a fundamental indicator of where we sit in the universe?
Okay, let's dive into this with Section 1, the heavenly realms and the microcosm of society.
Now, think about the stark contrast Xu presents. On one hand, you've got these higher spaces, places like the Thousand-Year World and the Elysium Celestial Islands continent. And in these realms, zero conflict. None. It is purely mutual respect, love, and harmony. But then, on the flip side, we have lower realms, like hell and, well, human society. And these are defined by constant conflict and struggle. The text draws a super clear line in the sand. Any place filled with conflict simply does not belong to the heavenly kingdom, period. He actually draws a really direct correlation. The quote is, "The lower the level of life, the more constant and intense the conflicts and struggles." The argument here is that if you look at human society, the countries, the regions, even the families that are constantly fighting are often the most impoverished or backward. So the presence of conflict is directly tied to a lower, let's say, less evolved level of spiritual existence. It's basically a mechanism of nature. To level up spiritually, you have to learn to coexist harmoniously with everything around you. So that brings us to Section 2, Roots of Human Conflict. Why are we even here? What's really wild about these disqualifying traits for heaven is that the barrier to entry isn't some literal locked gate. It's actually our own internal baggage. According to the text, we're born into this human world because we simply lack the qualities of higher beings. Sublime things are reserved for sublime beings. If you're out there chasing wealth, power, and status, if you're greedy, jealous, angry, or even if you're just super attached to your own stubborn opinions, well, you're disqualified from that heavenly existence. It's exactly these negative human traits that anchor us down to this messy realm of conflict. And this brilliantly illustrates the spiritual antidote they propose, which is cultivating flexibility and tact. In this framework, the beings that actually belong in the heavenly kingdom, they survive and thrive through total adaptability. They just view everything around them with total ease and contentment, no contradictions at all. So, for a practitioner, or a Chanyuan celestial as they're called, cultivating this deep, profound flexibility is absolutely the #1 requirement if you want to elevate spiritually. All right, let's shift gears to Section 3, the mechanism of nature and universal justice. The text poses this really provocative rhetorical question. Is there injustice in human society? Now, think about your everyday assumptions for a second. When we look around, it seems incredibly obvious that life just isn't fair, right? We see innocent people suffering and bad people getting ahead all the time. But Zhu delivers a definitive, rock-solid answer. None whatsoever. Under this philosophy, there is absolutely zero injustice in human society. Crazy, right? Every single thing that happens is considered the result of a perfectly just karmic mechanism and the Tao's flawless arrangements. So within this specific framework, what you or I might perceive as some terrible injustice is actually just a perfect, unseen karmic balancing act. It's playing out exactly as it's supposed to. And the text keeps this rapid-fire questioning going, tackling another deeply held belief. It asks, are there bad people who oppress and exploit others in human society? I mean, surely, right? History is literally full of them. Well, again, the answer is a resounding no. The crucial point here is that what looks like cruel oppression or exploitation to us is framed strictly as a debtor-creditor dynamic. The text insists there's no causeless love, no causeless hatred, and definitely no causeless oppression. Everything, the whole shebang, is just a settlement of spiritual debts from unseen past actions. So if someone is exploiting you in this worldview, they're literally just collecting a cosmic debt you owe them. which leads to the super powerful, really striking conclusion about human suffering. It's summarized perfectly in this quote: "The path to heaven is open, but you refuse to walk it. The gates to hell are closed, yet you insist on entering." The core stance is that human suffering is 100% a personal choice. It's driven by our own hidden thoughts and deeds. We can't blame nature, we can't blame society, and we can't blame other people. So, how do we actually apply this? Let's get into Section 4, Cultivating Flexibility in Daily Life. The text actually offers this really rhythmic, almost meditative framework for handling life's daily annoyances. And it starts like this: "If you deceive me, so be it." Instead of fighting back or holding on to all that resentment, the advice is that deception should just be accepted without a fight. If getting deceived is destined on your life's path, you should gladly accept it as just another preordained stop on your journey. Then it goes, "If you treat me unfairly, so be it." The instruction is to stop exhausting yourself fighting unfairness in the heat of the moment. Instead, you're supposed to entrust everything to the greatest creator. By completely trusting in the ultimate fairness of the universe, you know you're eventually going to get a totally fair outcome, even if you can't see it right now. Next, "If you owe me, so be it." Now, this introduces a fascinating kind of mathematical, spiritual idea. Arguing over debts, whether we're talking about money or emotional debts, is seen as completely pointless. Why? Because cosmic energies always balance out perfectly to equal zero. Giving and receiving are always equal in the grand scheme. What is meant for you will come, and what isn't will just fall away. If you provoke or take advantage of me, so be it. The text uses this brilliant analogy of Sun Wukong, the Monkey King who was trapped under a mountain for 500 years. The idea is that provocations are just finite trials. They have an expiration date. They will end. And here's a really cool twist. If people are taking advantage of you, it actually demonstrates your own Buddha-like abundance. It proves you have something incredibly valuable to offer in the first place. And finally, if you insult or belittle me, so be it. Insults are viewed merely as a reflection of the insulter's own internal ugliness. They have absolutely zero power to tarnish the pure, serene nature of your true self. When someone hurls an insult at you, they are really only exposing themselves. Let's move to and see how this all builds into Section 5, Life is a Game. Consider this profoundly detached perspective from the text. Life is merely a game. Without me, the earth will still turn, people will still live, seasons will cycle, all providing scenes and props for my amusement. This really emphasizes the sheer insignificance of all our daily fretting when you compare it to the vast ongoing cycles of nature. The world doesn't need us to fix it. It is already perfectly serene and orderly. The practical instruction here is incredibly liberating. That is, if you can actually adopt it. Stop clinging to outcomes. Stop over-pursuing things that are just fleeting anyway. Instead, entrust your eternal life to the Creator and your daily life to the Tao. Treat everything, yes, even your absolute most stressful work and obligations, as amusement, like a game. Approach the whole thing with that total flexibility and adaptability we were just talking about. Which brings us to our final thought today. If life is, as this philosophy suggests, really just a fleeting journey, a temporary game set on a cosmic stage, what are you holding on to? What grievances, opinions, or desires are currently tying you down to the conflict of this realm? It's a highly provocative, ancient-sounding, but honestly intensely practical question to ask yourself as you navigate the rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope it sparked some deep curiosity for you. Keep learning, keep questioning, and we'll see you next time.